Hey, I'm Blair Best. It's Monday here on The Story, and tonight, changes could be coming to Multnomah County's deflection center. That's where people caught solely with hard drugs are taken instead of jail. County Commissioner Shannon Singleton joins me live in just a few minutes to tell us her new ideas for the program. But first, we're heading to North Portland to check in on a drop-in center for homeless people that opened about 5 months ago, how it's impacting the neighborhood, and how many people have gotten off the streets because of it. It's our big story tonight. It's been roughly 5 months since Multnomah County turned this North Portland Health Center into a drop-in day center for homeless people.
You get clothes, you get food, you get showers and to do your laundry.
We have snacks and breakfast and coffee.
The center on North Lombard Street in the heart of the St. John's neighborhood is open 5 days a week, 9 to 5, helping those who need it.
I've been on the street all my life.
They already got me into a shelter, and then I'm gonna be off to treatment here after that.
It got me and my girlfriend into a shelter.
That help has come at a cost to the neighborhood.
We've had probably over 30 incidents. We've had people having fires in our parking lot, all kinds of drug use on the end of our steps. It has been nothing but destructive since it's opened.
Nathan Rhodes is a supervisor at the neighboring Green Drop Garage.
It's definitely frustrating to be having this conversation.
Since we had it 5 months ago when the center opened.
We have had some drug use in the area around our building, so hopefully that will eliminate some of that.
It hasn't. So now, he says they're building a fence around the property, costing the auto repair company about $15,000.
That'll hopefully keep our customers' cars safe, our shop safe. All of our tools, our equipment is very valuable.
Across the street,
there's people that are camping all day, all night, every day.
Jeremy deals with his share of problems since the day center opened.
We have to clean up trash, human waste.
Those who use the center know exactly what he means.
A lot of people around that come around don't have a lot of respect for the community, and that's a crappy thing.
I totally get it. Like, who wants to see filth everywhere and, people fighting and doing drugs?
Multnomah County has put $1 million into the site. A county spokesperson tells KGW, "We understand the frustration neighbors feel about this and are taking their concerns very seriously. The Homeless Services Department has been engaging with our provider, Do Good Multnomah, to ensure this program is a success for the people who need these support services and the surrounding neighborhood. That has already resulted in several actions to address concerns, including working with partners to clear several encampments blocking sidewalks and doorways, improving cleanliness, and improving security on the property."
I don't think that they're paying attention to it at all.
The county is still working on a good neighbor agreement, with no plans of closing the day center, as it's the only one for homeless people in North Portland, they say.
I don't think they understand what is happening. I think all they see is people getting help, but they're not seeing what that help has done to the businesses in the neighborhood.
So the drop-in day center, while a Multnomah County program, the day-to-day operations are run by a nonprofit called Do Good Multnomah. I went inside the center today and talked with them about the work that they're doing. They serve about 30 people a day, and since it opened in July, staff there have helped about 15 people get into shelter, one person into permanent housing, and there are currently 2 additional people in the process of getting housing. They also hear concerns from the neighborhood. Here's the director of the nonprofit's Housing and Retention Program, Nicole Jackson.
This is a chronically underserved area and a new program coming in. So anytime you start something, you're going to have speed bumps and things along the way. And so it has been a process of hearing what in our programming is working for both our participants and then the neighbors around us. And then also what's not working, and working together and collaborating to how we can make adjustments to make sure that our folks are getting served, and then we're also being good community members.
Okay, so she tells me she and other staff members patrol the building. There's also on-site security along with an on-call security team.
I totally hear the frustration that they have. The camping and folks refusing to move impacts us and our ability to do services as well. And it's unfortunate that there are individuals that choose to do that. And we try to refer those to the services that we're able to connect. We've also updated our community agreements to have stronger language around camping or not camping, more specifically in the area, as well as drug use, smoking, things like that.
That's their home, and they're taking their home from them.
Well, starting today, the city of Portland will start towing illegally parked vehicles that people live in and fining the owners. That includes RVs, trucks, cars, you name it. This is part of city code, and the city is now renewing its enforcement. Here are the details. Small and medium RVs, boats, tiny homes, and passenger vehicles will cost the owner $250 if towed. Large RVs will cost $353. The vehicles will be taken to a tow lot, and if it's not claimed by the owners within 30 days, the city will charge the owners for storage, disposal, and demolition. Now that can range from $2,000 to $3,000 or more, depending on the size of the vehicle and the amount of stuff in it. If someone wants to pick up the vehicle from the tow lot, they'll have to provide proof of insurance and a valid driver's license. This morning, I went to Northeast Sunderland Avenue, a street that is lined with RVs and vehicles that people live out of.
I've been out here for about 25 years. I think they should just leave the people alone and let them live instead of coming over and taking their homes from them. $200-300, these people don't have that much. I mean, they're living on their shirt tails right now.
Personally, I'm glad. I'm tired of having the street across from me full of people who are not doing a good job of picking up their trash and are not very mindful of the people who live across the street from them. So they're, especially in the summer, up all night and so forth and so on.
Okay, important to note here, it's the last known registered owners of the vehicles that will be getting invoices in the mail starting today. I'll also add this is somewhat of a reverse course from this time last year when PBOT said they would immediately tow vehicles that don't have a VIN or license plate, but not vehicles that people live in. Well, starting today, that all changes, lived in or not. If illegally parked, they risk getting towed. Okay, turning now to deflection in Multnomah County and the place that houses the program in Portland's Central East Side. It's where police refer people caught solely with possession of hard drugs to give them the chance to get connected with services like treatment instead of taking them to jail, which sounds like a progressive and innovative way to handle addiction in the county. The only problem is millions of dollars have been spent on the program, and in the first year, on average, fewer than 2 people were served at the deflection center per day. An annual report was recently released, and the results are not necessarily promising. Here are a few of the main takeaways. From September 1st of last year to the end of August this year, law enforcement referred 520 people to the deflection center. 392 of those people actually decided to stay and talk with someone, while the rest, over 120, simply turned around and walked right out. Now, of the 392 people who engaged, just 113 of them took the additional step to complete deflection, meaning they accessed at least one service that was offered to them. So of the 520 people that police referred to deflection, just 21%, around 1 in 5, actually received some kind of service to complete the program. Critics have argued the price tag for deflection is not worth the results, saying there are more security guards working at the center on a typical day compared to the people who actually use the center. And the numbers have some Multnomah County commissioners speaking out as well.
I'm concerned that this model fundamentally doesn't really work.
2 people a day can't, for the millions of dollars we spent, we can't continue with that.
Today, Commissioner Shannon Singleton released a set of changes that she would like to see when it comes to deflection, basically linking deflection with the county's homelessness efforts. Okay, her proposals include integrating data systems between deflection and homelessness systems like the by name list to best understand people's needs and direct them to specific services. Getting people into county sober shelters immediately upon their release from the deflection center, and making inpatient drug treatment and recovery housing available on site rather than having to send people elsewhere. Okay, joining me now live is Multnomah County Commissioner Shannon Singleton. Commissioner, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Blair. It's good to see you.
So I want to start with what in your eyes is not working with deflection?
So what's not working is that people are not having success in either entering recovery from addiction or from homelessness. The data showed that 92% of participants are experiencing homelessness, and yet we've continued to have these two systems disconnected.
So yeah, that first year of deflection, of the more than 500 people referred, only around 400 actually chose to engage with the program, and even fewer completed it. How do we boost those numbers?
I think there's a couple of ways. One is part of my proposal includes increasing referral sources. As a former outreach worker, I know that I had lots of clients who were asking for support to get sober, and right now they are not able to refer their clients into the program. There are some expanded referrals, like some peer services or Portland Street Response, but I think we need to go even bigger than that because there are people who do want to seek recovery. Additionally, people leaving deflection and going back to the street is not a good plan. We need to set them on a path to actual recovery. And so that's why I think working with our clean and sober shelter providers will enable them to actually enter into treatment and at least into a supportive community of other people who are also trying to be clean and sober.
Right, so that first proposed change, provide immediate entry into county-funded clean and sober shelters from deflection. Why is that not happening now, and why do you want to make that change?
I think it's just by program design, it operating in these silos. And it was something for me that just I've been asking for since I started last in December was how do we make this a better connection to homeless services? And I think particularly as we've expanded clean and sober shelter, we need to really make that change now. It feels very urgent to me. It's not something that can wait for another year. And I think the data in the annual report is what pushed me to say this data is clearly supporting this needed connection.
You said we've expanded sober shelters. If more people are referred to the deflection center, are there enough sober shelters to accommodate them?
That's something I think we need to talk about with the providers is we have guest beds for a lot of different types of things. As a former shelter provider, I used to have guest beds, for example, for law enforcement, that if they came across somebody, it was a women's shelter at the time, but if they came across somebody in the middle of the night that needed access, they could bring them to my shelter. We do this for a lot of reasons, and I think deflection is a really good reason to make that sort of bed policy and have immediate access to that clean and sober space for them.
So another one of your proposals is training deflection center staff to check that by name list. And if that person is not on the list, then to add them. But for viewers at home who don't know, what is the by name list and what's behind this proposed change?
So the by name list is the list of all the people we know in our community who are experiencing homelessness. It's part of why you see the big difference in how we count our point in time count that just came out to show, as opposed to just doing a moment in time or one night in January, we're tracking people throughout the year. And this has been a years long effort to get people onto this by name list. I think there's two components to this. One is the deflection center staff could be checking, and if somebody is on the list and assigned to case management and has some support services, they can help make that reconnection. But additionally, if they're not on the list, it gets them on there so that homeless services can also start to pay attention to this person's needs.
Is it kind of crazy to you that that hasn't already been happening?
It absolutely is. I think I referred to it as low-hanging fruit the other day, and it really is something really simple that I think we can do that will impact some change for people.
You mentioned you want to allow homeless shelters to refer their clients to the center. So will this change the structure of who and is not allowed into the center? Because as it stands right now, law enforcement arrests someone for drug possession and then gives them that option of deflection or jail. So what would a referral from a homeless shelter look like?
It would look like somebody who is wanting to really get into sobering and being able to refer them or bring them up to the center yourself. I think I've talked about previously with you, Blair, a little bit about Hooper Detox and how that used to work or not work for homeless service providers. And there still really isn't an access point. If somebody has case management and support services and they're saying they want to get clean and sober, we should offer them that opportunity. But there is a need to make sure that they are being checked out by a medical provider so that it's not just a cold detox. We really want to get them those services that this center will have. And then again, it can get them on that path to recovery if they want to go into longer term treatment, whether that's outpatient or inpatient. But right now, those two systems are very disconnected.
So in that Deflection Center annual report, it mentions that there are discussions about expanding eligibility to allow some co-charges like low-level misdemeanors, things like trespassing. Right now, someone, can only be charged with drug possession to qualify for deflection. So what do you think about expanding those charges?
I think it makes sense, and particularly, I think it makes sense for the city's ordinance around no camping. Right now, if you get that citation and a controlled substance charge, you're not eligible for deflection. And so I think there is a next step that makes sense. And again, only if we connect this to homeless services. I don't want it to be another revolving door where people aren't getting connected in the way that they need. And I don't mean to say the staff are doing good work for what they were designed to do, but the design doesn't actually meet the need, and it's time for us to make these reforms.
Do you think charges like trespassing or, say, theft would make sense to have someone charged with that then be offered deflection?
I'm absolutely open to expanding it, but right now I think the first step is to fix the program so that it's actually an entryway into services. Referrals to services is not something that is really setting people up for that longer term success. So expanding too much right now feels like a difficult choice when it's almost a path to nowhere. And I really want us to make this first step so that people are exiting deflection or sobering and getting into with either shelter, inpatient treatment, or connected with outpatient treatment so that they're on the path to housing and recovery. And then we can continue the conversations about what might need to be expanded.
And we know the county is working to open a sobering center also in Southeast, but that's not slated to open until 2027. So I'm curious, how long is the county's lease on the current deflection center, and will there be a gap between when that closes and the sobering center opening?
So there is sobering on site at the deflection center now. That part did open in the temporary site as well, but the permanent facility, as you mentioned, doesn't open for a bit. There is some flexibility in the lease terms so that we can extend should we need to make sure that there isn't a gap in services between the temporary facility and the permanent facility.
Okay, Commissioner Singleton, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Blair.
So what do you think about Commissioner Singleton's ideas? What do you think about how deflection has gone after just over a year? Does anything stand out to you? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090. Well, here's a live look outside on your Monday night. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino joins us after the break with what you should expect weather-wise for your Thanksgiving, especially if you're traveling for the holidays. Stick around for that when the story returns. Well, today, Governor Tina Kotek declared a fuel emergency because of the ongoing shutdown involving the Olympic pipeline, Oregon's main fuel artery here in the Northwest. According to the governor's office, the pipeline supplies more than 90% of the state's fuel, bringing it to Portland, where it's then sent across the state. Now, the governor's order allows for fuel to be delivered to the state in a variety of ways in order to maintain fuel supply, basically waiving certain delivery requirements. The state is not seeing limited fuel supplies, so the governor's order is a preemptive move to try and fend off any shortages if the pipeline remains down for an extended period. AAA told us today the pipeline remains completely shut down as crews are working to identify and repair a leak near Everett, Washington. So far, they've dug up more than 200 feet of the pipeline trying to find that leak. There's no timeline for when things could be back up and running. Now, the pipeline is the main source of jet fuel for SeaTac, so that airport is telling incoming airlines to fuel up before getting to Seattle. And Washington's governor declared an emergency of his own last week. And here at PDX, the airport gets jet fuel from a variety of sources, including the Olympic pipeline, but so far has not reported any effects from the outage. Okay, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Wow, I can't talk all of a sudden.
It's Monday, Blair. You're good.
Monday.
It's all good.
Talk to us about the weather.
Yeah, you know what? We're in pretty good shape for the holiday travel week going ahead here in the Northwest because we're going to see things warm up. So I'm not really concerned about big snowfall in the passes. We'll touch on that in a bit. But we'll start you out with the national airport scene. A lot of people flying, especially Tuesday and I think Wednesday. Isn't that normally the busiest flight day of the year? Anyway, the airports right now are all good. No big delays at any of the major hubs on the map there. That will change those who go through the week. In fact, even tomorrow, if you're flying to Spokane, you may get some snow. I doubt that'll have an impact on the flights there. And then the upper Midwest, so Minneapolis, not Chicago. If you've got a flight through Minneapolis tomorrow, there could be snow impacting flight plans there. As we go into Wednesday, still it's the upper Midwest and the Northwest. The rest of the country really doing quite well. But watch what happens as we go into Thanksgiving Day and beyond. We get this weather system dropping out of Canada into the northern Rockies. Now, this is Friday morning. We're still in good shape around most of the country. Some snow up around Toronto and Buffalo, perhaps. But this system will drop down Friday, bring snow to Denver on Friday night and Saturday, so there could be an impact there. But then this is when it gets messy. That storm is going to reform in the lower Mississippi River Valley and spread a bunch of rain, thunderstorms, and snow on the northern and western fringe of it on Sunday, which of course is get home day for a lot of people. So if you're traveling home from the East Coast on Sunday, be ready. The airports may be impacted by weather on Sunday and another batch of snow heading into Denver and possibly Salt Lake at that time as well, which of course are hubs and connections for a lot of people. In the meantime, we have a winter weather advisory in the Washington Cascades until Wednesday morning, but not in the Oregon Cascades. They'll get a couple, 3, maybe 6 inches of snow there. We're just too warm and don't have the moisture for it with this one. We may get 1 to 2 inches, maybe 3 tomorrow as the snow level drops on down to about 3,000 feet. But then look, it shoots back up. It's well over the passes through Friday. Finally, the snow level drops on Saturday. That's when we get some decent snowfall. So that's the one day, if you're traveling over the passes for the holiday, where you may be impacted by snow, because Sunday and Monday, while it's cold, begins to clear out and we'll be in great shape at that point with the roads. Portland right now, 48. A little bit of light rain's falling out there, but not that much. That'll pick up during the midday hours tomorrow, right around noontime. Look for the rain to really begin to ramp up. Overnight lows in the 30s, highs in the 40s, so another cool day. Here's the 7-day forecast through Thanksgiving. We'll get rain on Wednesday, rain on Thursday, Friday, a little bit of a break there, Blair, with showers and sun breaks. Rain Saturday, but then it clears out for Sunday and Monday. So all in all, not bad.
Rainy holiday.
Yep.
Okay, Matt, thanks so much.
You bet.
We're back right after this.
Well, that is the end of our show, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Straight Talk is coming your way next. And don't forget, everyone has a story to tell. If you ever miss an episode of The Story at 6:30, we re-air it at 8:30 and 10:30 on our TV app, KGW Plus, which you can get for free right now on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. In the meantime, have a great Monday night, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 6:30.